Hi guys, this is Sneha from Collegepond. Thank you for joining us. I'm also joined by Ms. Robbie Kanjani, who is AVP Counselling at Collegepond. And together we are going to conduct this webinar today and help you guys with everything that you need to understand about how to choose the right country today and what is the right fit for you and what are the criteria, what are the things that we keep in mind. Now, just to give it a little bit of an introduction about ourselves, Collegepond has been with students and in this particular business for almost like 2 decades now. And we have had the pleasure of assisting many students with their academic journeys and, not only just getting into the top schools like the ones that you see on your screen right now, but also with their career, beyond that. So we've seen a lot of students growing and, occupying senior level positions in top companies like Google, Amazon, you name it, and we've had students in those companies working for quite a few years now. If you look at some of the top admits over the past few years, yes, we have definitely sent students to Stanford, Harvard, some of the top Ivy Leagues in the US. We have also had the expertise of sending students across to different domains in different countries. We have sent students to more than 30 different types of domains across 17 to 20 countries by now, right? So we have a team, we have systems in place wherein we can guide you with each and every country, whatever is better for your career, whatever wherever we feel based on our experience and knowledge where you will have a good career. We are also in touch with a lot of our students who are studying abroad and working abroad, and we kind of have a pulse on the ground. So that is what helps us stand out from the rest. Let's begin with what exactly you need to consider when you're choosing the country. What is the right fit for you? Okay, the number one option that students talk to us about is what is the work permit like. Will I get to stay back? Because obviously if you're investing so much time, effort, energy, money, everything, you would not want to just take a degree and come back. You would want to go for the entire learning experience, which also includes working and gaining practical exposure, right? So a lot of students want to understand what is the work permit and stay back option. That is one of our factors that we consider when we are helping you choose the right country for you, right? We also help students decide the cost of education. Now, cost of education, when I say cost, it is not just the tuition or just the living expenses. It's the overall ROI or the return on investment that we look at, right? Now, for calculating that, we have certain systems and experienced counselors who will help you understand what is your return on investment if you go to a particular country. There are various parameters that we look at, like the ones that you see on your screen right now, right? So cost of education is very, very important. We look at that also when we are choosing the right country for you. Curriculum, of course, it is the most important thing when it comes to choosing the right fit for you. There are countries where you can find the courses. Let me give you a small example. If you're say going for say a general mechanical engineering program, maybe you will find a lot of options across the board: USA, Australia, any of these countries. But if you're looking for say an MS in mechatronics, specializing in something so niche, then maybe Germany would be the right fit for you, of course, if you have the profile for Germany, right? So there are lots of ifs and buts and criteria that our counselors look at. Another thing that we also consider when we are helping you choose the right country is basically when we choose the location, when we help you understand which location is good for you. Within a particular country also, there could be different locations that are good for a particular domain, and you can find that out by talking to our alumni, connecting with them on LinkedIn and things like that, and we will make that space available for you. We also have our own app, Converge Study Abroad, and I will put links to that towards the end. You can download that if you wish to, and connect, explore the options that we have there. We also talk to you about the scope in the country for the career that you choose. So maybe USA is a top choice for an engineer because it's a STEM program that he's going to, but that may not be the right fit for someone who wants to go for psychology, say for example. Okay, so there's a lot of discussion and brainstorming that can happen in terms of what is the scope. That is what a career counselor is for. A lot of students ask us about European, countries as well. And while we love the curriculums in Europe, sometimes in some of these countries, you might face some language barriers in order to, stay back and, get a job, etc. So we talk to you about such things as well. We actually can connect you, with someone who has gone to these countries, or if someone has not gone to these countries, what is the reason for that? We can explain that for you. Plus, a lot of students come to us with a lot of personal parameters as well, like, what, I have relatives here in, in New Jersey. I want to go there so that I can actually stay with them and I don't have to pay rent, etc. Those That's an example of a personal parameter. Someone can tell me that, hey, what, I cannot live in minus 30 degrees. So, however good a university is in Canada, maybe we will not suggest that for them. So we will look at a lot of personal criteria as well. Okay, some of the students who come to us with a lot of experience expect that they want to, complete the masters quickly. So we suggest 1 year masters programs for them in, say UK, Ireland. A lot of after obviously looking if at, at whether their profile is suitable for these countries, right? So it's not just one of these factors. Again, we also look at how easy is it going to be for you to get in, right? How easy the visa process is. We look at it holistically, not just getting into a university, but also getting the visas very easily, So what is the overall journey for you look like? We look at that right at the, stage where you will be enrolling, and we'll be guiding you accordingly to build your profile so that you're not making any mistakes. This is a question of your career, right? So you would want to, invest proper time and, have all the due diligence that will help you. Last but not the least, we depend a lot on the feedback that is given to us by our existing students who are already studying or working there. We have systems in place where we actually do a lot of webinars with them and ask them very pointed questions, and, ask them a lot of, detailed questions, as detailed, as how many students in your, field got internships, or how many students in your batch got eventually placed, how did you get your jobs. We ask them for their experiences, and those things are recorded and, saved on our app for the next batch of our students to take advantage and, benefit from. So this is a self-paced way of research and learning, and we are basically a platform that will help you connect and converge with all the, other students who are basically going and, studying abroad. Let's look at what exactly is the career and country scope. Now, these are some of the examples. I'm not sure how many of you from these fields, but based on our past experiences, we have seen that a lot of students, from these backgrounds come to us. If you want to have like a general idea, pharmacy, we have definitely sent students to USA, Canada, Ireland, UK, Sweden. These are some of the countries where we have sent students for pharmacy, and they've been successful, in getting into good programs there. Marketing, Canada, Singapore, France, Australia. I'm not going to read through the entire list because you can see it on your screen. You can take a picture if you want to. Figure out which course you are interested in, and, what exactly is it that you want. And these would be the countries that you could tentatively explore. Of course, within each of these countries there will be several parameters. So for example, you might want to go to Germany, but if you're from a marketing background, then we will tell you that, that is not the right place for you to go. And this advice that we give you will be based on a lot of data of our past students, of the, the experiences and the job scenarios, etc. Of course, if you want to go to Germany, and if you're from any other field, we will also look at whether you have the CGPA and things like that. A lot of students come to us with a certain thing in their mind, but when we do the in-depth profile evaluation, we can guide them whether that path is right for them or not. And doing this while you're, in your third year also is beneficial, so that you can build your profile accordingly. Okay, so those of you who are from not, who are still in college, or, in second, third year, it's still a good time to start exploring your options. Let me get into the details of each and every country right now, bit by bit. The first country that I'll talk to you about is USA, and I'm going to give you like a general gist of what exactly is the requirement for USA in terms of work permit. How can you work after your studies there? Usually, you get around 3 months basically to find a job in your field. From our experience, we have seen that people are getting these kind of, the jobs in their field. It's a vast market. A lot of top global companies have their headquarters in USA. So you might have to geographically relocate if there are no companies in your area, but ultimately you do end up getting a job. Okay. Especially if you are from the STEM category, there is a lot of skill shortage there, and you can get jobs within 3 months. How long can you stay in this country? For STEM courses, after studying for 2 years masters, you can definitely, or even a PhD, you can stay back for 3 years. But for non-STEM courses, the stay back period is very limited. It's 1 year. So for some, that's why I said if you're from psychology background, we would not really suggest a USA, because unless it's a STEM program, right? Because you will not get like a stay back, higher stay back option. You can also apply for permanent residency, but that's a long path in USA. Once you get on your job, and once you basically get on your H1B visa, you can then definitely apply for a green card. If you're looking at a citizenship, it's a 15 to 20-year game right now. Okay, but you can start somewhere. USA is very good for those people who want to make money, and then are willing to wait for 20 years for the citizenship, or are willing to make money and come back and start their own business or something here. Okay, salaries are excellent in USA in most of the fields. The ranges in the tax ranges, between 10 to 37%. And it's important for us to talk to you about the tax rates general in the country as well, because that is what will help you also calculate your return on investment over a long period of time. After you recover the money that you have invested, if you happen to get the H1B, obviously how much money can you make, right? How much savings can you have, what kind of lifestyle will you have, all that you can definitely calculate for yourself if you're going for USA. Okay. Canada, let's come to Canada. Let's look at what happens after you graduate. I am getting some questions in the chat box about certain specific programs, etc. I will definitely be we have Robbie here who will talk about it towards the end, about what courses and what countries are good for what courses. Okay, so just hang in there, just be with us, and we'll definitely answer those questions, right? In terms of Canada, work permit for 1 year courses, you get a 1 year work permit. So if you're doing a 1 year diploma, you get a 1 year stay back option. But if you're doing a 2 year master's or a 2 year diploma, even it doesn't have to be a master, it just has to be a 2 year program, you will get something called as a 3 year work permit, a PGWP, right? And you can stay back, your stay back in Canada depends on the number, the program duration, basically. Okay. And the best part about Canada is that if you get into Canada, and if you study there and work there for even if you get like a 1 year work experience, you get into something called as the Canadian experience class, which is one of the classes, or one of the criteria for getting the PR. And even if you have like 1 or 2 years of work experience, you will get enough points to get the PR. Of course, the PR depends on a lot of other things, like your English language scores, your the job level, the NOC category of your jobs. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but yes, as on today, it's a little easier to get a PR. If the weight is lesser than USA, of course, but it's a cold country, so there are pros and cons to everything. Okay. Salary, the salaries are a little lesser also in terms of salaries in US, if you compare US and Canada, but so are the tax rates. So it's kind of equivalent. Okay. When it comes to Netherlands, though, once you finish your program, you have a 1 year stay back option, which is also called as the job search visa. You will be able to stay back unless, even if you don't get a job, you still have 1 year in hand to find a job. That helps you, buy some time. And once you find a job, you can apply for something called as a work permit, and then keep extending that work permit. The work, as long as you have a job, you can stay back. And after 5 years of stay, you can definitely apply for a PR, and more 5 years, you can definitely apply for a citizenship. As long as you have a job, that's fine. Okay. Tax brackets are higher everywhere in Europe. So you will see it will range up to 9 to 40%, depending on what salary and what skill level you're working at. Okay. So that's a little bit about Netherlands. About Ireland, once you do like a 1 year program in Ireland, a lot of master's programs are 1 year programs, right? So you get to stay back for 2 years, right? And how long can you stay in the country after your graduation? Again, that's like 2 years. And you can apply when you start working, you can apply for something called as a stamp 1G, which is nothing but the work permit. and you can keep extending your work permit, and after 5 years you can definitely apply for a PR. We are going to talk to you. We have slides in this presentation about which fields are, really popular in Ireland, and who are the students who are getting like really good jobs in Ireland and other countries as well. So we will talk about that. This is just a summary. Okay, UK is another country where you can go for 1 year master's program. So a lot of students who want to, take up only 1 year master's go for UK and Ireland. UK also you can stay back for 2 years after your graduation, and you can, the moment you get a job, you transition to something called as a tier 2 or a work visa, and you stay for another 5 years on that, and then you can apply for your IDLR or the stay back, the PR basically. Again, just like everywhere in Europe, the tax rates depend on your salary and can go up to as high as 40%. Okay. But yes, UK is definitely a good option for a lot of students, especially from the arts background and design. And someone was asking me about design in the chat box. So UK is one of the countries where we have sent students for these kind of courses as well. Okay. Australia, the information that you can see on your slide, I'm sorry, I haven't updated it. For people who are doing a master's with coursework in Australia for 2 years program, they are getting a 3 year stay back right now. Okay. And basically in Australia, you can stay back for 3 to 5 years right now. Okay. So it is also a good option. The borders have opened. Students have started going to Australia. The visa process is quite streamlined. A lot of students also tell us that they can apply for PR as long as they're working at a particular skill level and a particular skill code. They can definitely apply for a PR after 2 years of work experience, and that's definitely achievable. Okay, so this is a little bit about Australia. About Germany, you get around 18 to 24 months to stay back, and as long as you know good level of German, like the criteria here is knowing good level of like B1, B2 level of German, and then you will thrive in your workplace. Of course, if you have the technical knowledge, you can't go without that. But apart from the technical knowledge, you anywhere in Europe, which is not an English-speaking country, you will have to know the local language. You will have to be someone who can pick up a new language very easily. Okay, to work in these countries. Standard of living is very good. As long as you have a job, you can definitely apply for PR in like 5 to 10 years, and that's something. Germany is very good for mechanical engineering related programs, automobile engineering, design also, like product design, and a lot of these mechatronics, robotics, these kind of programs. A lot of these technical universities like TU Munich and all, they're very very famous for this. Of course, Germany is very CGPA centric also. So you would have to have like a good CGPA minimum of 8.5, I would say, in today's day and age, and then you will have some chance of getting into Germany. Now let's look a little bit at country-wise cost of education. So we are talking about this from some of the top countries where students are going. Average expenses, tuition plus living, you will see the bifurcation there. Okay, per year. The tuition plus living expenses, if you calculate, this is an average range. So it could range from somewhere between some universities in USA would have around 24,000 tuition and living included. It could go as high as 93,900 tuition and living. Okay, tuition plus living. This is a broad range of tuition plus living expenses, especially New York and cities like that are pretty expensive. The ROI also is similarly there. Okay, in these cities. Canada, the broad expenses that you can look at in terms of tuition plus living could go from 43,000 to around 81,000 Canadian dollars roughly. UK, you can see everything. I'm not going to repeat the figures. Actually, it's a little bit like a tongue twister for me. So you can just look at the figures on the screen. You can also see what exactly is the work permit. So USA is the only country where you can work only on campus, and that for 20 hours a week. Rest everywhere in most of the other parts of the world, you can work outside the campus as a student as well. You can work within the campus as well as outside the campus, and mostly it's 20 hours per week. Okay. The availability of RATA, yes, it's there in USA, Canada, UK. you don't get that usually while you are here in India. You have to go there, you have to basically, perform well in some professors' courses, and then, tell them that, hey, I performed really well in your program and I'm really interested in working under you. Do you have any availability? So you'll have to really research about which professor is looking for RATAs and approach them accordingly, right? In Australia, the possibility of an RATA is low, but definitely, top universities, if you have the right profile, there's no harm trying. And in all of these countries, Canada, UK, Australia, odd jobs for students are easily available. So you can easily make your rent, and you don't have to depend on your parents for the rent once you are on shore there. Okay. So I'm going to quickly run through other countries also where we have sent students. You can check the slide. I'm not going to read the each and every this thing. Also, we have put in some links in the chat box. If you are interested in getting a free one-on-one counseling session after this webinar with us, you can definitely book it. The link is there in the chat box. You can just paste that link and go on it, and later on book a one-on-one session to discuss your specific situation if you have any, right? Then there are countries like Switzerland, Japan, Singapore, Sweden. A lot of students are not really aware that yes, there are programs there. So we will guide you about what is the scope in in these countries, etc. I've given some general information on the slides here. You can go through that. A lot of students don't know that they can apply to multiple countries, because there is a lot of there's not a lot of knowledge around what are the timelines and how to proceed with applying across different countries. So only an experienced counselor can sit with you, look at your profile, and look at practically tell you whether how many countries you can apply to. And there is an advantage to applying across countries, because once you get to know that okay, I'm getting admits from these countries, you can then compare. If you're getting say a rank 3 university in UK versus a rank 40 university in USA, maybe you would want to go to UK. It really depends on the curriculum and your budget, and your how much preference you are giving to the ranking, etc. Okay, so it we brainstorm such things one-on-one with the student and help them decide what is the return on investment. Okay, so this is something that we do one-on-one with students after they go through detailed career counseling with us. We also keep in mind the factors like the availability of loan, etc. So you might want to go to a particular university, but if if your parents don't want to or are not in a position to invest that much money, what are the loan options then? What exactly will it cost for you to get the loans? All those things are very, very important in terms of getting the right university. Sometimes students don't apply to some of the top choices because they feel that they will not be able to afford it. But we have seen cases where students have gone to some of the top universities with like completely funded through a loan as well, and they've not burdened their parents. So we will guide you how to do this. It's completely possible, and we will definitely look at those aspects as well. When it comes to Collegepond, we have had good amount of expertise in helping students build their profile and helping them understand what to prioritize. Okay, now you see some 4 things on your screen right now: internships, technical papers, co-curricular activities, and extracurricular things. A lot of students ask us, what is the most important thing for me to build my profile? Now, let me talk a little bit about this before we move ahead. If you want to apply for an industry-oriented program, of course, which is like a professional program and not a very research-based program, right? Then internships and work experience would be very valuable on your resume, okay, and on your SOP. That will really make a lot of sense. But if you are say applying to say a very research based program, or if you want to do your PhD later, you are applying to an integrated masters plus council PhD program, something like that, then number 2 technical papers will have more weightage than number 1 internships, right? So it depends on the kind of program that you are applying for. Okay, again, there are some countries like Germany and all where the technical universities, they really value a lot of research work that you have done, etc. So along with your CGPA in Germany, research papers, 1 or 2 research papers in the relevant subject area would add some value to your profile, definitely. Okay, Now, about what about co-curricular activities like projects, certifications, courses? Yes, they would add a lot of value, but they are not definitely about your CGPA and your GRE requirements, etc. CGPA, GRE requirements are the most important requirements for you to, they are the cutoff basically, and you have to clear a particular cutoff to kind of, get into a university. Once you clear the basic cutoffs of the universities, you then all these other things will matter in this particular order. Okay, so if it's like 1 and 2 are interchangeable depending on what kind of program you're applying to, research or industrial or professional program. Co-curricular activities important, but not more important than 1 and 2 or your CGP and GRE. Extracurricular activities would be the least important of these. However, a word of caution here: if you have the profile to apply for universities like Harvard, Stanford, some of these universities, they do value extracurriculars. And at an undergrad level, if you're applying as an undergrad student for bachelor's in any of these countries, then yes, some of these extracurricular activities will look very good on your essays and everything. But apart from that, for most of the universities, you have to go in this order: your CGPA, GRE at an equal footage, and then equal footing, and then your internships, technical papers, and co-curricular activities. I hope I'm clear with how you can build your profile. And if you want more information about how to build your profile specifically, you can definitely book a one-on-one counseling with us, and the counselor will be able to give you time and help you understand what you need to do, and they will give you your roadmap and timeline. When should you start building your profile? I would say today is the right time. There's no time like today. But it also depends on what you are doing today. Say suppose if you're working today, okay, and you're having say a 9 to 9 job, and you tell me that it's very difficult for me to study for GRE right now, then we will give you what are the top options for you that are available without GRE. Okay, if you tell us that hey, my CGPA is very low, then we will tell you what exactly is it that you need to do, what kind of GRE score can you compensate with, what whether you need it or not, what kind of countries you can apply wherein you will get in easily. We will do proper analysis of your profile and give you that. Okay, so the decision will depend on which country you are targeting. Why do you want to study abroad as well? If you're looking at just getting into some of the top companies there, then we do have certain universities whose CGPA requirements may not be that high, but they are located strategically in good locations, and there are a lot of companies in and abroad. You want to try your luck, and you want to go into a university which is less expensive, because there are a lot of companies in and around. Okay, so if that is your goal, then yes, we will allow you to kind of say okay, you can compromise on the brand a little also. But obviously a lot of other criteria will come into play. Okay, it also depends on which course are you applying for. Say you are applying for a research heavy program, then you have to start building your profile right from your first year of your college. Okay, if you're applying for an industry based program, you have to start building your profile right from your internships and GRE, which usually happens in your second or third year. Okay, beyond that it will depend on where you are, how much profile you can build. So we will guide you, and we will tell you like what is practical and what is not practical when it comes to profile building. That will happen over a long period of time of maybe say 3 to 4 months of working with us. The application process, I'll cover a little bit about the application process. Course and university selection is something that we start with. Then we also help students with the SOP, LOR, and the resume process. It's a detailed process. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but understand one thing, that we help students by brainstorming with them and coaching them about how to write these documents. Okay, we have very strict plagiarism and other checks in place. So because of which we coach the student and we collaborate with them to build their SOP, LOR, and resume, so that it is unparalleled and not matching anything else outside in the market. We also prepare students for applying for scholarships, or we tell them whether they have the profile or not for a particular scholarship, and we will guide them. If it is not available, then how they can go on a loan, loan on different types of loans. We will guide them with the finances. We will also prepare them with the university interviews, with what are the do's and don'ts, what are the questions you should prepare for. And of course, application forms, we do not fill the application forms for you. if you're applying for the top colleges like Stanford, Harvard, Imperial, or University of Melbourne, if you're applying to such colleges, we will not work with you. Like, we will not be submitting the applications for you, but there will be guidance available at each stage. Considering some of the cases, some of the universities where we have tie-ups in UK, Australia, we will also work with you on the applications. Like, we will be taking information and helping you with the application forms, etc. So we have a team that will be working with you to do this. When it comes to admits, we will also guide you about how, once you get the admit, what you need to do, how to get the I-20. I-20 is a very US specific term, but after you get like the I-20 or the CAS or the confirmation of enrollment from your university, how do you proceed from there? What documents would you need to show for the visas? What financial planning you need to do, whether you need to write an SOP, whether you need to attend a visa interview. We will basically help you with all those processes. We are very country agnostic. We will help you with the visa process of whichever country you're going to. There will always be a counselor who will be assigned to you for certain specific things. We work with specialists so that everything can happen parallelly for you. Okay, so there's a separate SOP team, there is a separate visa team, there is a separate application assistance team. So everything is done by specialists here. We also have Robbie here, our AVP. Robbie, can you carry on here, because you work with a lot of students, over the past so many years with us.
So these are some of our students' testimonials. You all can see that they have made it to their dream university with our help. So, you can read what they have to say about our services. And as Sneha said, that we help students end to end. We help you build your profile. We help you at each and every stage of the counseling process till the time you don't have a job. So our services will not end at visas. We will continue to help you all till the time you don't get a job. That is why, we make sure that we are in touch with all our students. We help them network with the ex-students, and we make sure, they not only get into their dream university, but also to their dream companies. Please get in touch with us if you want us to evaluate your profile and give you guidance and, tell you what is the right fit for you in terms of countries, courses, and help you with the same.